you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. The sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Hey everyone, time for Welcome to Deep Dive, where we dive deep into geocaching topics. Each episode features in-depth discussions and aims to provide a deeper understanding and appreciation of geocaching and to inspire listeners to explore new aspects of our great sport. Does that sound good, John?
That sounds real good, Gary. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. You know, I didn't have my daily dose of pizza today, but I'm getting by. I'll tell you that.
This guy did.
Oh man, that's why you're feeling so good today, huh?
That's right. I sent you a photo. I think I said, yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, you did. You got me sufficiently hungry after that. Yeah.
I know. Yep. Sausage and mushroom, sort of a go-to. I mean, I could go for the all meat, but I kind of went for the sausage mushroom, which was a good choice.
Hard to go wrong with that.
Yeah. Got a lot of folks on tonight. This is great. Thank you all for joining. It means a lot to us to see folks. Jesse's not with us tonight, but obvious choice to have the Pizza Ninja with us. So that worked out great. Part of the Geocache Talk Network.
Yeah, and thank you, Gary. And fun fact for everybody is I'm actually Jesse's geocaching stunt double. So if he needs any stunts to take place, I get tapped for that. So that's a small fact.
That's right.
Many people may not know.
Exactly. John does all of our heavy lifting on the network. He does all the social media. So that's it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. And John does a great job of that. So thank you, John.
Thank you, Gary. So much fun.
Absolutely. So we got a lot to get to tonight. So let's start with some news and we'll go from there. What do you say?
Sounds great to me.
Why don't we start by jumping right back into this? Like that little bumper thing. Couple things. If you go to the Cache Fest
Memphis Vault.
Well, no, if you go that too, but first I wanted to mention something before I mentioned that. I do want to say that if you go to the Cache Fest cache page, there is one of the side events has been published, so we're starting to get those in there. We've got Thursday night set. We got some really cool stuff coming up on Friday of Cache Fest. We're doing kind of a mix, and I won't talk a lot about this, but I know last year it was pretty successful. We had a lot of great things happen. And so we're kind of doing a mix. We're keeping the stuff that really was real successful, and we're adding a few other items, even though, so it's kind of a mix. If you were there last year, I would highly suggest you come back, because there are some things that we did that we're going to redo, but there's going to be some things that are new. So it's kind of a mix. So hopefully everyone that can hopefully can come and be a part. So with that said, we are going to tonight, we're going to do another clue, but not quite yet. Just hang on. We'll get to the clue here in a minute. We have published 11. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, 11, and 9 of the keys are gone. They're in people's hands. They are gone. So, well, gone. You know what I mean? They're in somebody's hands. So they have been found. 9 have been found. 2 are still outstanding. 1 is we're giving clues out for it, and we're giving another clue out for it tonight in a little bit. So stay tuned. If you would like to be part of our giveaway tonight, then we would highly suggest that you put in the chat, you put I love GC, since we're talking about why people leave geocaching. So if you put hashtag I love GC, ILUV GC, then you would be entered to win. And what can they win, Johnny? They can win a bison. I've got a bison.
Those look great.
They're great. I love the bisons. It's a big coin too, man. It's a nice coin.
Yeah.
I got some of the, not the real green, because we didn't make any more green. We did 100 green and that was it. We gave them out, so they're kind of highly prized. But I made a couple of cool green coins, so there's one of them. So if you like that, you just have to tell me, and I'll give you that one instead. I've got I dropped them all.
The treasure chest just tipped over.
It did. The chest tipped over. I got all the guitars from last year. Oil dipped, blue. That's black, blue, and the red. So if you'd like one of those, they are available. I've got books. If you'd rather have a book, I've got my fiction novel, The Coin.
Do those books come autographed, Gary?
They will come autographed. Yes, they will.
Nice.
The 201 worldwide geocaches to find before you die. I did 10 of each in a bunch of countries, and then I also did 20 in the U.S. So there's still a U.S. section. So there's a U.S. section. So if you're not traveling out of the U.S., you could still enjoy the book, because there's, like I said, 20 of the most popular in the U.S. And also I did Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, the UK, and the US.
Nice.
I think I did 20 in Canada. So that's what that's what I did. So there's 20 Canadian, in case you're because that was one of our closest neighbors. So that's why I did that. So, and we have a lot of Canadian viewers and listeners. But we have viewers on listeners all over the country, all over the world, which is great. So we appreciate everybody from all the various countries. If I did not mention one of those countries, let me know. Maybe the next version could have that in. So, what else?
Oh, I think we got to recognize a few awesome comments on this one so far, Gary.
Go for it.
I have to love on this one. Geocacher Ken, I think he wins the best joke so far of the show.
He had a joke about it, but he didn't tell us the joke.
Yeah, because it was too cheesy. Yeah. Oh man,
Man.
like that one cat.
Oh man.
And Tony Golden, you're making me think on my way to Cache Fest next year. Gonna
Yeah.
have to put that on the list for that one. 10-pound Big Wick pizza. I'll have to find out if I get my name on a wall of fame if I do
That's
that.
right. Wick's
Yeah.
Pizza. Home of the 10-pound Big Wick Pizza.
Streck 2, getting your pizza yesterday. Love that.
Nice.
And honorable mention from Curious KDB. So great to see you on here, Curious KDB.
Yeah.
I do enjoy a good calzone too.
Up kind of your direction usually. Up that direction. Yeah, so another item, and then we'll get into the topic, which is my event published, one of my events published for my trip up to the wonderful Northwest, the Great Northwest. And so if you'd like to join us, I'm putting the GC in the chat room. I'll put a banner up too so people can see it. But I've called it Fizz and Friends because we're going to the Triple X root beer and burger drive-in. So I called it
cool.
Fizz and Friends. Get it? Root beer, fizz. Okay. GCA 5RE8. So there you go. I know that Lori's going to be there. I saw her will attend, and I saw her name tonight in here. So I think, where did I see it? I saw it earlier. Where is she? She's in here somewhere. A lot of good comments tonight, man. That's awesome. There she is. Seaback Tribe, Lori. So
yeah, and I think Lori had first to comment too. So congrats.
She
Lori.
did FTC. Yeah, exactly right. So that's awesome. So yeah, if you can join us for that, please join. It'll be me, Bounce, Chad, and his wife, Stephanie, who goes by Little Miss Sunshine, and Lori will be there. So, so that's really cool. Oh, that's pretty good, Tony. You like Tony's? What's the difference between a good pizza joke and a bad one? The delivery.
Nice. Well done, man. You guys are killing it on the pizza jokes today. I'm loving it.
That's right. I don't know. I think he's talking about the breakfast event for the patrons. We had a great patron night last night. We gave away some prizes. Kendall won he survived the horror rooms, the murder mystery we did. I should have won. The game was somehow it was rigged, and it was stolen from me. I was the only person that technically lived up until the last moment, and then Kendall whooshed in the middle, whooshed out, got his body back, and sprinted to the exit and won the game. So,
man, he just had such an epic comeback on that. That was just such a fun time last night, and big congratulations to Sherry on that one for winning a prize, and then tagging the GSDs too.
Yeah, that was great fun. Great fun. So, and lastly, the packages are up. Oh yeah, Christ Our King was there too. Yeah, that was a good night. So, thanks for being along. That was a lot of fun, and we had some winners, and we all had everyone won because we had a good time. If you go to Cache Fest, the website, you will find that all of the swag packages are up now, and so they are available, some different versions of it, so you can pick which one you like, the one you prefer. And cool, they just booked their hotel. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
They are ready. That's awesome. Yes. Yeah. If you go to the website, you can find out, and you can click on the link there, or on the cache page, either place. I put in both places. you click on it and you can get to the discounted the thing there for the room in the host hotel. The host hotel, by the way, hasn't published yet, and I'm spilling some beans tonight. But the host hotel, there's going to be an event at the host hotel. So,
oh no, Gary just spilled the beans.
But it hasn't published yet. So this is news for everyone.
So you're saying if people get in at the host hotel, okay, see what you're doing there, Gary.
Right. And there's going to be, like I said, there'll be an event. More than likely, I think it's going to be Friday night, Friday evening, 6:00 is what we're shooting for that event. So if you're staying there, then you're there. You're ready to go. So, all right. So tonight's topic. How did we arrive at this topic? We were talking the other day about what we should do, and this one came up.
Yeah. You know, we were thinking about different topics, and I know, you know, for me, I was kind of thinking because like this time of year, it seems like, you know, springtime, especially up in the Northeast,
right?
You start to get newer cachers, you know, coming out and hitting the trails and
right.
starting their geocaching game. But then also you have, you know, returning cachers, and do they come back and start caching? Because I mean, at least in the Northeast, the wintertime up here, kind of a quieter time for people, you know,
right.
on that side. So, you know, kind of thinking from us and what we're doing, and kind of thinking the perspective, you know, why do people stop geocaching? And it could be also, I mean, why do people start geocaching and maybe, you know, don't go anything further? Maybe they find one or two caches. But, you know, for us and thinking, you know, how do we support that great sport of geocaching in our community? It's good for us to talk about why do people stop geocaching?
Yeah, very, very true. I like your point there that if we look at this, if we look at it from a positive standpoint, and I know you, John, you're a very positive guy. So I like your angle that you're gonna. It's not just a negative. Why do people stop? But it's more of a how can we encourage people to maybe not stop, maybe to pause and come back to this sport or not. But you know,
yeah, and I know one of these, you know, really kind of hits me personally. You probably know the one I'm talking about, Gary. That'll come up from what I've been going through on this one. So, you know, definitely, I've been feeling the topic for sure. You know,
we'll get that. Yeah, definitely get to that point. Let's start with the first one, which is burnout. Geocaching can be an addictive hobby, and some people may find, or sport, however you want to call it. I call it a sport, but some people call it a hobby. Geocaching can be an addictive hobby, and some people may find that they lose interest or enthusiasm after a while. This is particularly true for those who have found a large number of caches and feel like they have exhausted the local options. Some people may simply burn out on geocaching after finding many caches or participating in the hobby for a long time. Burnout.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, burnout on this one. And, you know, for me, this is the way I kind of feel this one, because I know, and I don't know how many people you start the game, you start going after all those traditionals on that one. You start to kind of clear the game board in your area. I know I live in a spot where we have a Great Lake just, you know, 2 miles north of us. Right. And then a national forest, you know, kind of just like probably about an hour and a half away. So it's a tricky thing when people kind of cash out their area, you know, I think on that one. But
yeah,
but I think one thing for me, at least on this one, that saves me a little bit, and I don't know how many people, that's actually when I started to get into puzzles after I kind of cashed out the traditionals.
No, that's good. Yeah. Good comments. Keep them coming in the chat room too, by the way. Good to see everybody. I like Eric says he'll stop caching when he's dead. Thanks on that, Eric. Wet Coaster, thanks for being with us tonight. Sometimes life gets in the way. Maybe you can get back to it, maybe not. So yeah, I think we're gonna think that might be on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
or some
And
aspects of that are on the list. So.
And I like what Coaster's comment here. Streaks can contribute to burnout.
He's read my mind because I was thinking that very thing, that I heard that a lot of people who, this is years ago when they had the August. Well, also if you hear people who try to get the 366 challenge, get a cache every day, and they try to finish it and they get burned out from that. But also they had a thing which was kind of funny. I wasn't really aware of it. So I have like pieces of, like, I'll go through my souvenirs and I have a souvenir for one of the not rare, but one of the random August. There was a thing they did where they gave a souvenir for every day in August.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
2007. May have correct me. I'm sure they'll find it and correct me. Something like that. I don't forget the year, but doesn't matter. You get my point. That is that, like Wet Coaster said, there's something about trying to cache every single day over a period of time, I think causes people to burn out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I mean, that's a struggle. You got something you love doing, and that's so awesome. You want to do it all the time. But yeah, certainly when it kind of starts feeling like a job, I mean, that can wear you out. I do like Christ our King's comment on here. If you feel burned out, step outside of your normal routine, find some cool puzzles or gadget caches to put out at your own.
Yeah, no, that's a good comment. This is also, I like Gina's. That's why we try to drive further out on the weekends and save closer ones for bad weather. That's smart. Very smart.
Yeah, really smart.
I've heard kind of your idea. Like you said, you got into puzzles. Jesse when Jesse's made this comment. We've kind of talked about this before on the show. But Jesse got into challenges, which kind of got him rejuvenated, I think. I can kind of see the point of what people are saying. I don't think I ever personally, I've had other reasons why I've never not, I've had some pretty small amounts back in the day. I started in 06, but I found at least a cache every year. Now there was a couple of years when it was pretty lean for me. Not that I didn't like geocaching or quit, or how to put this. It wasn't like I lost interest. It was more the life got in the way kind of thing. So, yeah. Chronically Tired Mom, thanks for being with us. Yes, put in the hashtag I love geocaching. In this case, it's ILUVGC. And the winner tonight will get one of her buttons or pins. I've got a whole little bag of Chronically Tired Mom stuff, so I'm pretty excited to give those out to folks. So that's
so awesome of Lanisa.
Yeah, thank you, Lanisa, for that. So yeah, so there's the first one. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is life changes. Just what we're talking about. Life changes, people's priorities and lifestyles. This is different though. Life changes is different than some other things we're going to talk about tonight. So this is a different take on this situation. So life changes, people's priorities and lifestyles can change over time, and they may no longer have the time or resources to devote to geocaching. For example, they may have to start a new job, have children. I think I saw somebody mention a good puppy dog, when then somebody said just bring it with you. That's for another show. maybe to a new location. So they got a new job. They have children. They move to a new location where geocaching is less accessible. So life changes. One thing I do want to mention on that front, we are getting to. I'm working on a show. It's just going to be for patrons, so we're trying to give some more stuff for the patrons. And so, one of the items we're going to do. Really looking forward to this. I'm not going to say where in the world they are, but they have placed quite a few caches, and I think that they and one other person are like the only cachers in this area. Wow. You'll know why if you get to watch the show, because oh my, I can't believe he's putting caches out, and I can't believe where he lives. So looking forward to that. And one of the things that he has to do, John, you're going to love this.
Mm-hmm.
He has to, we always talk about muggles taking caches. He has a very unique muggle in his part of the world. Monkeys.
Wow.
Monkeys steal the geocaches, so he has to carefully secure them so that the monkeys don't take the caches. Is that insane or what? Well, you know, it's we hear about animals sometimes taking caches. Well,
yeah, is this guy using like banana containers for like geocache containers, Gary?
No,
what's going on here?
Just regular containers.
Oh man!
But you can imagine that, you know, a monkey sees it, and yeah. So apparently, exactly. But anyway, that's.
Oh man, yeah. But we didn't put monkeys on the list here. But you're right.
We didn't. But we're in the life changes now. Some people mentioned some other things. We'll get into some of the other. You know, hang on on those other ones. So, life changes. So, what are your thoughts on that one?
You know, life changes is interesting because, you know, from our notes and taking a look at these things, you know, for some people, you know, I mean, moving to another area could actually help invigorate or reinvigorate their geocaching, you know, like when Charles, you know, moved and others moved, I think even Jesse, and thought, you know, if that's the time they wanted to do a streak, they wanted to do a challenge, that's certainly an opportunity. I think life changes too on here too. Have children or children getting older. Yeah. I know some cachers I talked to, you know, they found geocaching through their hobby with their kids. Right. And, you know, as they got older, that was something that they didn't do because they associated with their children, but it's still something they could do, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, but then in a sense, they weren't really, how to put it. They probably didn't love the sport for the love of the sport. I mean, they were doing it with somebody, which is fine. They were doing it with their kids. I mean, I kind of can see where, you know, a life change, and they, you know, maybe they don't feel comfortable going with somebody else. They're comfortable with going with their kids, but they don't feel comfortable going with. There's really no strangers in geocaching, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it could. And, you know, I mean, everybody's got their different style. I know, yeah. Like for me, like I'm a social cacher. I love going out with people caching, you know?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Love grabbing food afterwards, especially pizza. And, you know, really? It's one of those things. I know that's my style for caching on that one. Yeah.
Right. I would never have known that you were a lover of pizza. Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, I kind of cache different ways. I like caching by myself. I mean, that's fun. I like caching with the Motley Caching crew. I like caching with our team, with our network folks. So I guess it depends on, some people don't want to cache by themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but if they're one person they go geocaching with a lot is not around at the time, you know, then um, it can be, they don't feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
I've had a couple friends who have lost spouses, and that was something they did together. I have a couple friends who, I mean, you know, it's devastating. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
there's,
absolutely.
no question about that. So I can see where they don't want to go geocaching anymore because it's associated with their spouse. I've one of my friends who caches now, uh, basically for most of the time by himself. He's remarried. His new wife is not really. I mean, I think she's more into it now than she was when they first got married. But he, even changed his geocaching name because um, it was difficult for him because the geocaching name was the two. It actually had both their names in it. So,
Mm-hmm.
so life changes can be obviously part of it. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
so, but he left the sport, and then as somebody mentioned, they've left the sport before, probably not the same reason, but you the point, and they came back to the sport later on. So it wasn't like they left forever; they just left for a little while. So they stopped geocaching. This is one of the reasons why, but they've come back since then. Um, so let's go on to the next one. Lack of new caches. I think we kind of covered that earlier. Somebody mentioned it. Geocaching is dependent on new caches being hidden for participants to find. If there are no new caches being hidden in an area, geocachers may lose interest.
Yeah.
Maybe in parts of the world. I mean, there's caches everywhere in the U.S. I mean,
Yeah, but I think here's a tough one. I mean, on Deep Dive previously, I mean, we talked about what is it? 3% of the geocachers out there hide caches. Only 3%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I mean, they're the ones carrying the game out there. So
yeah,
I mean, really for us right now, kind of thinking, especially as we got spring, we got newer cachers, starting, especially in North America. I mean, this is a time for all of us to get some new hides out there, get some creative ones. I know we had some good discussions yesterday on the patron hangout,
right.
Creating some unique caches, maybe
Yes.
not your stock traditional. And I know somebody said in the chat earlier, if all they have around them is LPCs, that's a big thing. Lack of new caches and variety of caches,
Well, and maybe you putting out more caches, maybe putting out different caches, maybe that'll draw some people out. So like Southwest Love Flyers saying Idaho, put some caches out in Idaho. So,
oh man, so all the cachers in Idaho gotta show up and get some new
up.
caches out there. Keep the community going.
Step up, Idaho. Come on now.
Yeah.
Help us out. Help a cacher out here. No, that's good. I like that. That's funny. Yeah. So I think one of the things that could help would be have some events in your area, and if somebody shows up, you can kind of, if this is kind of this is my roundabout way of looking at this, though, is that try to get more people involved in the sport. Therefore, they might, and then have events, and you could kind of nudge people and go, hey, you've been caching now for a couple of years, put out a cache or two, help a brother out here,
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a possibility.
And
Um,
reward new cache hiders. Let them know how much you appreciate, their hides out there.
yeah.
Because I think for a lot of people, if they're going to hide caches and they're putting one or two out there, if they get good feedback, hopefully they're going to put
Mhm.
others out there. If they don't have a good experience hiding a cache or two, who knows? Who knows? Maybe
Yes,
that could be it for them.
absolutely. Yeah. For those that are joining late, I saw Jamie was in. He was never late. He just came at a different time. Put in hashtag I love GC, ILUV GC, and you could win. So we're gonna do one more, and then we're gonna do a clue. So hang tight. We're gonna do so. Let's talk about one more, and then we'll do another of the clues. So next one is difficulty finding caches. Some people may become discouraged if they have difficulty finding caches, particularly if they are new to the hobby or if the caches are located in challenging or remote locations. So difficulty finding caches is the next one on the list.
Well, and I got to be honest, this is what actually stopped me from my first attempt geocaching.
Yeah.
It was back in 2006, and I mean, I hate to say it, it was pre-smartphone. I officially started,
It was.
caching in
Yep.
the smartphone era. But in
Yep.
2006, my brother-in-law came in with my sister to town.
Right.
Didn't know where the cache was hidden, just popped open a GPS and said it was about like 7 miles that way. So,
That way.
we drove and found a parking lot that was about 7 miles that way. And then we get to the parking
Right.
lot and he goes, well, it's about 2 miles that way. And then, and then we're thinking, do we drive? Do we walk? How do we get there? So,
Yeah.
so, I mean, long story short, this was definitely one for me where, we never found that cache, and from
Even to this
there,
day?
I found it later. I found it
Oh,
later,
wow. You did.
but
That's
not.
okay.
Yeah, I found it like I want to say maybe it was like how many years
So
later?
you,
Maybe like
yeah,
7 years later. Like seven
that's
years
awesome.
later. Seriously, yeah. And I took a picture and I sent it to my brother-in-law and my sister, being like, "Guys, I found it. It was there."
Yeah.
But the short version of the story is, for me not being able to find it. I officially started geocaching like what was it, 7 or 8 years after that.
Wow. Yeah.
So for me it had some impact, but I think on this one too, and it's one of those things, like I have some caches, a couple on a college campus, and for me those are great starter caches for people.
Right.
I have a bunch of pictures already queued up that if people are looking and can't find it, I'll say like, hey, here's a picture of the general area. Here's another picture, and I'll go from like pretty general hints to blatant hints.
Right.
But I think that's one way to do it. And yeah, I think TDK Scouter, yeah, this is a good one too. When I started geocaching, took him over a month to find a micro-sized cache.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, I wonder if is he saying that he was finding so many large caches, or it just took him that he just couldn't find the small ones because he wasn't used to finding small ones yet? Maybe that they can clarify.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
that's a good point.
I've known people who they start caching because they find in their first, back in the day, a lot of them were ammo cans, So, oh yeah. Direwolf says he stopped looking after 30 minutes. Yeah. But I know people who they find an ammo can, they're like, oh, this is awesome. They're all like this. And then they try to go find another one. They can't find it. It's like, well, they're looking, thinking it's an ammo can. It's not, because even back in the day, they were different sizes. So, yeah, exactly right. The first Nano was mind blowing. Yeah. The first time
Absolutely.
I saw somebody take um, uh, a the little panel little electrical panel, and they moved it. You're like, oh, there's something behind it. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
That is like a mind-blowing moment when you do that.
It
You
is.
Go, oh my God. How many of those have I seen? Are geocaches everywhere?
They're everywhere. Yeah, it's a good one. So, all right. So let's stop for a moment and let's give out a clue. Now, this is one of the clues for clue 11, correct? Is that right? Did I get that right?
Key 11.
Okay. Key 11. So I'm going to share my screen because I didn't download it, because I think it kind of comes around. It kind of comes up a little bit wonky if I do it that way. So I'm going to do it this way. So let me share this. And we'll do it this way. And we'll do it like this. And I'll read it to you. And then also it'll be in the group, and we'll mention that here in a minute. But this is the next clue for clue 11. Quick in and out by air if necessary. Quick in and out by air is necessary. The school around the corner could provide a heli landing zone, like a helicopter landing zone, or there's also the golf range just past the trees. This drop point, I found, should be sheltered from stray balls, but the field is very large and open. At least I don't know anyone who could hit a ball that far. I found a spot that is ... That's the end of that clue. So John will place that on the group in case you're wanting to, if you're playing along, then in the group we've got the clues for the vault that we're giving out. If you find a key, you're going to get a prize, regardless of whether the key works or not. If your key works, of course, you're the big winner, and you get to open the vault, and everything inside of it will spill out because it's going to be packed full of goodies, and there's at least $500 in gift cards inside, along with coins and books and lots of various swag. I think Bounce is putting in some of his gadget type items. I'm throwing books in. Jesse's throwing books in. We're putting
Isn't there an autographed copy from Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, too?
Yes, there is. I got it back here waiting to go in. Yes, I've got an autographed copy of the comic book. And like I said, at the very least, you get $500. Well, it's in gift cards, but you get the idea, So there you go. All right, on we go. So, John, you will post that later, and let's talk about the next one, which is this is kind of what is happening in Idaho, apparently. Disagreements with other geocachers. Geocaching is a social activity, and conflicts can arise between participants over issues such as cache placement, cache maintenance, or ethical behavior. If these conflicts cannot be resolved, some cachers may decide to stop participating in the sport. And I saw that comment earlier by Southwest Love Flyer said that they are having, I think it was, they were saying that they have issues with some folks up in the Idaho area. So, which is disappointing. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And it's just sad.
That is, the hiking community, they have the phrase, hike your own hike, and I always feel like in geocaching, it's the same way. Like geocache, the way you like to geocache.
Yeah.
And certainly it doesn't mean that, we all have to put out every single cache needs to be like a 5.5 and,
Right.
all these crazy caches. It's like we should put out caches that we like and hopefully other people like them. But that doesn't always mean that everybody will like every single geocache that's out there.
Yeah. There's the group, by the way. Thanks for putting that out there, John. Yeah, I mean, I would say at the very least, and I know it's frustrating, but at the very least, don't stop. Please don't stop geocaching because of the idiot. There's plenty of idiots in the world. Even in the geocaching world, there's some big idiots. So I would say maybe temporarily or put some caches somewhere, maybe in another location, but not too far because you got to maintain them. But, maybe there's some spots, say 15, 20 minutes south of you that you could put caches versus putting them in town. There might be some creative things you could do to kind of get away from those, the people that are not, wanting to play along or mean. I hate that kind of situation. So
and I'll say this: I think every time for all the geocaching communities I've ever been engaged in,
right?
Even if it's like I've been traveling for a conference and there's like a GIF event or a geocaching event and I stop in, majority of cachers are awesome.
Yes,
out there they really
right.
are
exactly. Yes,
and occasionally you got some, like Gary said, just like everybody's not the most awesome people. Sometimes people have bad days. Sometimes, maybe it's something more than that. But the majority of geocachers I've met have been awesome, and certainly it's one of those ways where don't give up if you encounter some people where they're certainly rough around the edges. Yeah, and I see a few comments on here like Christ Our King. Yeah, we're for you as a newbie. Yeah,
it's bad. Where they were called out for needs maintenance. That's not right. Yes, Direwolf. Well, we don't know that. We assume that everyone here is an awesome geocacher, but we don't know for sure that that's true. I assume they are. We hope they are. They're watching the show, but let's be kind. Be kind, everyone. It is a sport, but it's not a sport you're getting paid. At least none of us are getting paid. There's a few people in the world that are, but they're very few and far between. There's a couple people. So stop being mean. You mean people, stop being mean to others. Just live and let live, cash and let others cash, and don't be a problem.
Absolutely. And especially when it comes to newbies, helping them, get to the game where the game only exists because of the community and everybody contributing to it and playing with it. So it certainly wouldn't be a game if it was just one person.
Right. No, absolutely. And especially online, and you're our social media manager, so I know you see this more often than I do, but be kind to people online too. It's not, I see this sometimes, and it really, to me, it's really disheartening when cachers will attack other cachers, and it's like, you do not need to be cache. You don't need to be cache police. That's not your job. I mean, the reviewers can do some of that, and other than that, then we don't need it. We don't need cache police. I think we talked about on Sunday. I mentioned about somebody complained because they're like, Well, they showed a cache, I think, and they said, "Hey, you can't put a nail in a tree." And the person came right back with the responses, "It can be if I own it." And it's on private property. It's not on public property. So I guess, that's, there's, public property is one thing, but if you own it and, then, you know, you own the tree, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so it's like, you don't stop it. It's just everybody stop doing
Exactly.
that. I see these things where people are like, "Oh, well, I put this cache wherever." It's like, if people are not in danger, as long as it's in the guidelines, even if it's not in the guidelines, you don't have to beat somebody over the head with it. There's a right way and a wrong way to do that.
Right.
Not online in front of millions, all these people, but you could just send them a private message and go, "Hey, I think this is too close. Is that an active railroad track that you might want to consider? Is it too close?" And give it some thought. Or the one that always gets me is, they, and we've all, hopefully we've seen these, and we do our best to, like if it's in a bad spot or it's like people are going to trample it, and so carefully find the cache, carefully put it back, and then send a note to the owner of it and go, "Hey, just an FYI here, but this might not be a good spot because unfortunately geocachers are like elephants and they're going to trample that whole area. So if you're okay with that, I mean, that's up to you, but just you give people suggestions."
Yeah.
But it's yeah, go ahead.
And certainly, I mean, everybody plays this game how they want to. Some people, want to go out and get 1,000-day streaks, on here. I mean, some people want to go out and get like hundreds of caches a day. Some people may just be happy with like one cache every once in a while, But why ruin the joy in the way that somebody likes to play the game,
Yeah. Be kind and respectful. Absolutely. So, think before you say anything to anybody. I mean, if you think of it more as suggestions, I have a suggestion. I mean, it's up to you, but start like that. Get the idea. So, all right. Some other ones that we want to get to tonight. Other interests. Pardon me. Other interests. People's interests can evolve over time. They may become more interested in other hobbies or activities. That leads them to stop geocaching. Lack of time. Geocaching can be a time-consuming hobby. Some people might find that they don't have enough time to devote to it. Okay. Lack of interest. Some people may just lose interest, and that's why they stop. I mean, I think some of the suggestions you mentioned too about trick it up, change it. Like if you're bored, I guess, with the same old thing, maybe take a different approach to it. Do some challenge caches. Study. If you've ever done a challenge cache or hidden a if you have never hidden one or you've never found one, do some investigating on challenge caches and maybe go find one. Those can be invigorating for people who aren't familiar with, like you said, puzzles. Some people, and they're not all hard. I mean, a lot of puzzles are hard. They are even hard for me. But there's some that are not as hard. Look at the difficulty levels. Pick out some that are maybe a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think of this stuff too. I mean, especially, when we're with new cachers who, again, they start the game thinking maybe every cache is going to be a traditional on here. But, I mean, one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that we can do with the community is help, those newer cachers or the others kind of discover all those different facets of the game that make it, amazing.
Yeah.
Including for people who just say, well, what's an earth cache? I found, all these traditionals.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the thing cool. This game has so many games within the game, inside
Absolutely.
games. And that's the thing I mean, think, especially with the community out there, to kind of really
Mm-hmm.
help reinforce that and open people's eyes up to all that creativity and passion people have. That's what I
Yeah.
think is really cool about geocaching.
No, you're absolutely. Couple more and we'll wrap up tonight, but lack of interest. We talked about difficulty finding caches. I think somebody mentioned that, or you even mentioned someone's having difficulty finding caches. They may become discouraged and give up. Try to encourage those people to really look at the DT rating and start with the new, help them realize that, because I've had some folks who they started and they're like, I can't find your cache. It's like, well, it is a higher difficulty rated, so I always suggest to them, I said, you've only found 4, maybe go, and I just give them suggestions, here's a couple caches, go find these and kind of, continue to get your feet wet. And then maybe as time goes on, you might be able to then find the higher, like, oh, because a lot of new folks don't realize what the DT ratings are. They see them, but they not necessarily know
That's
that.
true.
So instruct people, help them, give them some help.
Yeah, and I like Nancy's comment
mm.
here too. I'd like to ask all the people who stopped why they stopped, but you can't because they stopped. And yeah, I mean
That's true. You
that
can't.
that
They're
that
not
would
there
be great.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to find out because what happened, because there's so much
Yeah.
awesomeness with geocaching. Is just what happened. Yeah, that would be great to know.
Yeah. So we're going to do the, we got a couple more to get to. One big one that we're going to get to that some people have already mentioned, but I do want to mention that we're going to be doing the giveaway here in a moment and do what Patty Cakes did, which is put in hashtag I love geocaching. In this case, it's ILUVGC, and you'll be entered to win in the wheel spin that StreamYard provides us. So that's nice. We don't have to do anything fancy. Just click the button. So, yeah, topics. Send us topics. Thank you so much. GCDSK11 does definitely send us some more topics. We are always looking for those, and that's always good to give us. So, all right, so a couple more, and then we're going to wrap up. Health or mobility issues. Geocaching can be a physically demanding activity, or you could do something stupid like I did, which is missed a step in a parking lot, and that curtailed my geocaching for a while. And some people may find that health or mobility issues may make it too difficult to continue. So, ironically, you and I can both relate.
Absolutely.
To this. I broke my leg right at the tibia plateau, right below the knee. You did something completely different. What was your?
Yeah. I was I was looking at an old rail bed to look at turning it into a hiking trail.
Right.
And while doing that, I had a little bit of hiking accident where I had to go through a swamp, and I went and turned, and my leg didn't turn, and I heard a snap, crackle, pop, and there weren't Rice Krispies with me. And I know.
Well, your leg was Rice Krispies at that point.
Yeah, it sure was. So yeah.
Or your ligaments, I guess. Was it ligament damage?
Yeah. I tore my ACL.
Yeah.
Tore my meniscus, had a bucket handle tear, tore my patella, bruised my tibia. And my general physician, she goes, well, there's good news. And I said, well, what's that? And she goes, your hamstring and quad muscle were intact. And I said, well, okay, that's definitely a good way to look at it, I guess, right?
The bad news, nothing else was intact.
Yeah. But at least, in the tough thing, at least for me as like a cacher, and I find a lot of gratification with cache hiding. I think a lot of people start the game finding caches, they get that gratification. But I know for me, like hiding caches is like very, very, very gratifying. I love to see people's reactions, especially if you can do something unique on that one. So I know I've been brainstorming some ideas, working with some folks. I know I'm very thankful for Chad Bounce, for his help with that Sasquatch monitoring station that I'm looking forward to getting a whole bunch of awesome hides out there that I've been working on. So I know that's one way that I've been very positive with this as well too. So, but I know it's tough for a lot of people going through something like that,
Yeah. And we talked about last night, you're ambulatory.
Yes, again. I am officially walking. So that is
you avoided my word.
Yeah,
you don't need an ambulance, but you are ambulatory.
Correct.
Which we talked about last night on the patron event. That ambulatory is a weird word because it does mean that you are now walking again. So, yeah, it can be rough. A lot of people mentioning in the comments things that they've done to themselves, or that have happened to them while they're geocaching. So yeah, I'm about to go back to not the scene of the crime because the Texas Challenge moves around, but I'm going back to Texas Challenge next weekend, which is where I broke the leg. Of course, that was in Conroe, Texas. We're going this time to Longview, Texas, another part of the state. And I missed last year's finishers event, which is the finishers event it's for everyone. Everyone can go, but they honor everyone who's done the 254 counties in Texas. So I'll be wearing my shirt with my number on it, 223.
Oh man, congratulations, Gary. That is awesome.
Thanks. It's a lot of fun. And I missed last year's because I broke my leg. So, but that's one of the ways that we people temporarily stop geocaching.
Yeah, nice.
Hopefully for folks, it is temporary. I know for some it's not, but hopefully for people it is just a temporary thing if they do have any health or mobility issues. So cost is the last one in our list. Although geocaching is generally an inexpensive hobby, some people may find that the cost of travel or equipment is too high. So yeah, I can see that. I mean,
yeah,
times are tough.
Yeah, and especially if you cache out your area and you got to keep on going further and further and further, to get a cache on that side.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very true. So, so there's some of them. Overall, while there are many reasons why people may stop geocaching, it is important to remember that it is a personal choice. Participants should feel free to pursue the activities they bring them the most enjoyment and satisfaction. Ultimately, the decision to stop geocaching is a personal one, and each person may have their own unique reasons for doing so. So it kind of circles back to be kind to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely one of those things. I mean, our game is a community game, and we know people that may be going through challenges with a lot of these or different times. So how can we help our community members within this great game on that side?
Yep, absolutely. So Friday is a thing. How do I know that Friday's a thing? Because Darren's with us.
Oh, howdy, Darren.
And Darren's in Friday. I know that he's in Australia. So I think he's currently in Australia, unless he's traveling. But I think he. No, he's. Where are you tonight, Darren? Darren was in. He's at Mount Isa. He mentions about fuel prices are definitely an issue in remote areas. Yeah, that's very true. So some people can't maybe get out and cache a lot at the moment, but very true. So we're gonna do. Oh, it's a wet Friday down there. Okay, cool, man. All roads in our town. Oh, dang.
Oh,
flooded.
man, sorry to hear that, Darren.
Yeah, at first I thought he just meant wet, and it was like, no, we're talking about flooding. So that's always that's rough. Sorry about that, buddy. So yeah, we're gonna do the drawing. We'll bring up the screen, but I do want to remind you, like Sherry does, put in a hashtag ILUVGC, and you will be entered to win a prize, and you get to pick from the sunken treasure chest an item from the chest. So put in your hashtag I love GC. So all right, let's do it. Let me share the screen again for those that were with us tonight. Thank you so much. Hopefully, even though we're kind of talking about a bummer topic, hopefully we're going to encourage with it. Like you said, John, we're going to encourage people to help others. If they've stopped geocaching, you know them well enough, you can kind of maybe talk to them, and maybe they want to keep going. They just maybe some of the other stuff might be, something you could talk to them about. So, all right, let me share the screen, and we will get this show going with the giveaway. There you go. I love GC. I'm gonna put it on the bigger screen for us. There we go. And hopefully people are in, because we're gonna get started. I'm gonna push the button. You ready? Here we go.
Yeah, let's go.
Wow, we got a lot of entries tonight. 48 entries. That's awesome. There we go. Who could win? Who could win? What is it? Who's gonna win? It's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning.
Slow down. Slow down.
Oh, Tiger Eye 1017.
Oh man,
Nice.
Congratulations, Tiger Eye 1017.
Good job. So there you go. So let me know. Send me a send us a email to if I can bring it up, I'll find it real quick. There it is. geocachetalk@gmail.com, and tell us which item you would like to be sent. So the bison, the green coins, the guitars, one of the books, or one of those items. So there you go. Thanks everybody for being with us tonight. Really appreciate it. Sunday evening will be a gadget talk, and then the week after. So what is that? The 19th will be Geocache talk, just to let you know. So we'll be back here next Thursday for another deep dive. So until then, we will see everybody then. So I'll remove that. There we go.
Hey, take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Push the button. Here we go. Bye.